Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's a lovely sunny dry day here in the Seattle area, and I thought it would be a good time to go ahead and film another car review for you guys. What we got here is a 2011 Subaru WRX 5-door. This one specifically is the premium trim, and as usual, we'll go ahead and do a quick walk around. I'll show you what features the car has, and followed by that, we'll go ahead and do a quick test drive of the car. And as you can see here, this is a very lovely view of the car. Gotta love a little hatch. And as you guys can see, this car is modified. When we go through the walk around of the car, I'll make sure to list and describe each of those mods for you guys, so you guys know what I'm working with. First things first, let's go ahead and pop the hood, because that's what everyone wants to see. And this is the power plant of the WRX. This is the EJ255 engine. It's a horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engine, 2.5 liter displacement with a single turbo right over here. This engine's paired up to a 5-speed transmission and put down to the ground with Subaru's all-wheel drive symmetrical system. Couple small mods in here. As you can see, we have a Cobb SF Intake system paired with the Perrin intake inlet. I had to replace this because this one broke, actually. The original one broke, so I went ahead and replaced that. And I have an IAG air oil separator over there, and that's for reliability, to reduce knock and any blow by the engine might have. That's all the mods in terms for this engine. I've spent most of my money on reliability and maintenance. This engine right here is an original engine, has not been swapped out, and get this, 150,000 miles. Yes, you heard me correct. 150,000 miles on this car, has never been replaced. This WRX and all WRXs in general might have a bad rep with ringland and head gaskets and such, but this car has amazingly been very strong for me. No issues really. Head gaskets have been done, water pump, timing belt, all the belts, alternator, air pump, radiator, pretty much. Besides the internals of the rods, the pistons, this car has had every gasket and such replaced, so it is now a very healthy and reliable motor. This engine's good for 265 horsepower, 250 foot-pounds of torque. And with that power, this is plenty for your daily driving. No issues with getting up to speed with 265 horsepower. And as we can see here, we have Fortunato 500 series coilovers. You can't see them, but they also have Swiss springs with the coilovers, and that makes a very nice ride for this car. With the 500 series Fortunato coilovers, I also have anti-sway bars beneath the car by Whiteline, 24 millimeter up in the front, 22 millimeter in the rear. This setup makes the car perform very neutral, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to put a super stiff 26 millimeter in the rear and 22 in the front to make it oversteer, nothing like that, because this, first of all, this is a daily driver, not a track car, and it performs and drives very good. For wheels and tires, I have right here Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s. These are 265 35 18s all around, no staggered setup here. And obviously, daily driver, wanted to have an all season tire right here and didn't want to go with an aggressive max summer performance tire like a Nitto NT05 or anything like that. So these Pellet Sport all season 4s do very well in the summer. In the dry, hot, they perform really well, and as well in the winter, these perform amazingly well. I drove this car the last time it snowed in Seattle, and believe it or not, I did not get stuck at all. These tires are very good in terms of comfort and noise, very quiet, and they absorb bumps really well, so I'd highly recommend these tires if anyone wants a good all season. And for the wheels, I have ESR SR11s, 18 by 9.5 plus 25 offset, and these wheels and the tire setup give the car a very nice stance. A little tiny bit of poke, but that's exactly where I want it. I didn't want the wheels to sink all the way in, and I believe it's just right for the car. And in terms of suspension, that's about it. This car does have a modified exhaust. It is not stock, as you would expect from a Subaru. You want to hear that rumble in the turbo. So what we did here is we left the stock downpipe with the cat intact, as well as the secondary cat underneath the car. All we did is delete the resonator and the muffler, and what we did is just a basic straight pipe exhaust. It just comes out a big, I'm not sure what the diameter is. I believe it's a 3-inch chrome truck tip at an angle, and it sounds pretty good, and it's plenty of noise out on the road. I wouldn't want to get anything too loud, like a catless downpipe or something like that. It's plenty loud for my taste. And with that, start opening up some doors and hatches. We can start with the hatch. Open it back up. We got here the cargo cover. You can roll this in and out when you want. This is an old timing belt kit with old parts. Please excuse that. But other than that, we have a good amount of space right here. Plenty of space for your grocery shopping and whatnot. And if you do need additional space, you can go ahead and open up the back door, move the seat belts, excuse me, out of the way, pull up this lever right here, and the seats will go down and you'll have a massive hatch of space. Whatever you want to do, I'm sure it'll be plenty of space. I was able to fit a 55-inch TV back here. Was able to fit my BMX, not my mountain bike, because my mountain bike is huge, but for your usual cases and scenarios, there should be plenty of space. Go ahead, close this back up. In terms of the back seat, it is fairly comfortable for being a Japanese Econo box based off the Subaru Impreza. You got the nice cloth seats, red stitching. You can fit back here, no problem. My driver's seat and the passenger seat are at their usual settings, and as you can see, there's plenty of space. This is not a 7 Series by any means, but it's plenty of space just to get around town if you have to transport people. Close the door, handle, manual lock, and your switch for the window. Got your little dome lay right here, got your handles and whatnot. And yeah, for transporting 4 people, this is plenty of space. 5 people would be a little bit of a stretch. As you can see, this little aisle is going to be pretty much for your elbows and your arms. The only time you'd be able to carry a 5th person back here is if it's perhaps a baby. Other than that, I would say this is better served as a 4-person carrier, not a 5. Get back out. Now in the passenger seat, as you again can see, Very aggressive seats, red stitching, WRX logo at the top. I added these WeatherTech floor mats. If you never had a pair before, I would highly recommend. They are really good floor mats. Sitting in the passenger seat, fairly comfortable, not much complaints. It's a very basic car. Got your glove box over here, got your little vents right here, got a tweeter right here, door handle, lock, unlock and lock, and the switch for the window. Got your oh crap handle up here, and you got your sun visor with the mirror. And again, this is the usual settings my passenger keeps the seat at, and at 5'9", 5'8", there's plenty of space here. If you're taller, you can go ahead, always roll back the seat, plenty more space, so no complaints in this department for the passenger. Now let's go to the driver's seat, which is what you guys would want to look at. Here we have everything business as usual, nice seats. Let's get inside, starting at the door panel. Again, same as the passenger, got your tweeter, handle, lock and unlock switch, but for the driver you also got the disabling of the windows if you have children and whatnot that want to roll down the windows when they are not allowed to. You go ahead and press that. That will lock all other remaining windows. Got your switches for all 4 windows. Only the driver's automatic. The rest 3 are manual. You have to hold down to roll down all the way. Cubby space. Little holder for your bottle. And now focusing to the cockpit. Excuse me for this hanging sun visor. As you can see, it does not want to go all the way up. This is a frequent issue with the WRXs. After a while, I assume would be the hinge starts to wear out, gets a little thin, and unfortunately it doesn't want to hold its position anymore. And the only way to pretty much fix this is jerry-rigging something like a piece of paper here. Sometimes that'll hold it. If not, if you want to go all the way and fix it, you'll have to buy a new sun visor, which I don't want to do that. And it's not really much of a problem for me. I've been dealing with years for years and years, so no trouble there. Starting at the top, sun visors. We've got your dome map lights right here. We have the moonroof, and let's turn on the car for this to demonstrate its functionality. Go ahead and turn it on either way. So you got your moonroof cover right here. We have switches where you can go ahead, open it, tap once, it'll go all the way back. Tap forward, go ahead and close it all the way. And if you want a little crack of air, you can go ahead, press it, hold it, it'll open and provide a little crack of air. Close it back down all the way, and there you go. Let's close that up. And starting up here, we have a Uniden R7 radar detector. If you guys want an additional video for that, I can go ahead and make that. Go ahead and drop a comment. That could be a possibly good idea for another video. Got a little mic right here. This is for my aftermarket head unit. We got the rear view mirror. We got 3 buttons for garage openers. I'm not sure what this does exactly, to be honest. I don't really know what that... It's probably to turn off the garage door openers, but I just leave that on. And this is for your compass to turn on and off. Coming back down here, we have a little cluster right there. You got your ambient outdoor temperature on your left, average miles per gallon for the trip, and then the third option is a clock. Standard right is your passenger airbag light with buttons on the right to adjust the clock when you want. Here we have the head unit I replaced it with a Sony. you guys are not aware, the original head unit is, let's just say, terrible. After 2 years I had enough of it and I just went ahead and replaced it with a Sony. I went to Best Buy, told them which one I wanted, and there we go. And as well, I might as well want to mention that with this head unit I also retained the factory steering wheel controls, and as well as the connections in the cubby right here. Usually you need different modules, but Best Buy was able to take care of that. I did have to pay extra, but it's good I was able to retain all the stock features. But with this I have Apple Play and all that good stuff, so highly recommend a head unit if you guys have a WRX. You got vents down here, button for the hazards, got your HVAC controls. This is a single zone, not no dual zone climate control like in a Beamer, but gets the job done. Got your little cubby right here with a cigarette lighter. This is where I connect my radar detector. Got my shifter right here. Got your handbrake, little cubby for some change, and 2 water bottle holders, as well as the switches for the heated seats. The left is for the driver's seat and the right is for the passenger seat. I also want to explain that with this shifter, this is not stock, this is also modified. Below the shifter boot, what we have here is going to be a Cobb short shifter kit paired along with a Grimspeed shift knob. Another freaking complaint about the WRX is in stock form, the shifter is very lazy, would be the best way to explain it. It's very high sitting and the throws are insanely long. And now with this short shifter, as you guys can see, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. It is very snappy, very short, and it is a lot better than stock. Highly recommend a short shifter kit if you guys are getting a WRX. And here at the cockpit, we have additional vents, closing and open. We have the brightness of the cluster, whatever you may please. We also have the control for the driver's side and the passenger mirror to adjust with control. This is the button for the stability traction control. As you can see, it turns off, turn on. Let's do the gauge cluster next. Top left we have our fuel, bottom left our temperature, dead center we have our tachometer, it goes all the way to 8,000 RPM, and on the right we have obviously our speedometer, goes to 150 miles per hour. If you have a Japanese or Canadian Subaru model, obviously the numbers on the outside will be kilometers instead of miles per hour, so depends on your market where you're getting this car. And we also, as obvious usual, we have our stocks, blinkers, lights. On the right we have our windshield wipers for the front and the back. Also, if you did not notice that, there's a wiper in the rear and also the sprayer for the windshield wipers. Now I guess you guys would want to know what this is right here. This is a steering wheel rim from Faction Fab. This is a suede wheel. I bought this off rallysportdirect.com. Reason being is because the stock steering wheel rim unfortunately is very thin. It's like if you're steering a Toyota Camry, to say the least. It is very thin, no bolsters, and it was just very boring for me, so I just thought I wouldn't go ahead and replace that. I didn't want to get into big aftermarket steering wheels, mainly because I wanted to retain the safety of the airbag and also the stock steering wheel controls, because I obviously use all this stuff, and if you ask me, it looks amazing. Definitely worth it, that mod. Besides the steering wheel rim, this is also connected to a new steering rack. The original steering rack on this car is a 15:1 steering ratio, and the problem that I experienced is that it started leaking. I'm pretty sure every WRX owner and STI owner might experience that at some point in their WRX STI ownership. So what I did is went ahead and replaced it with a 2015 plus STI steering rack, which is a 13:1 steering ratio. And with that, you guys should know, heavier and more direct steering. It's a lot more tighter, a lot more funner to drive in your hands. Not only with that I replaced the steering rack, I also replaced the steering bushings. I replaced it with steering rack bushing kit from Whiteline, polyurethane bushings, and now this car is just an amazing car to drive. Go ahead and turn this car off. Let's take one final walk around the car. That's probably one of my favorite curvatures of the hatch right here. Very aggressive. Besides the 22B STI from Subaru, this is probably my second favorite body style. This hatch is just a good looking car. You'll always get compliments and thumbs up from other Subaru owners, and not even Subaru owners, but sometimes I even get stopped and asked different questions from other people that are interested in buying these kinds of cars. Now with the walk around complete, now it's time to start the driving portion of the video. Alright, I'll go ahead and find some twisties and I'll get back to recording and talking to you guys. I'll see you guys later.